Hello. Okay, as we continue to experiment here, get some more light on the subject. All right, I have another short journal for you. It's called The Way to Heaven, Your Last Lifetime, Wisdom of Surrender. It was written January 9th. The Mayan day was 8 Reed. And this is the second one of that day. It followed on the heels of the previous one. Okay, what comes now? I only know I got this strong urge to open up a new document and start typing. So, what is here? More love of Source? It's been a day for that. When the Mayan days get toward the end of the trecena, which is their 13-day week, then things start coming together. It's natural. Somehow, whoever created that calendar, it seems that they tuned in to the creative urge or cycle of the divine. If you haven't yet seen an Ian Lungold video on the Mayan calendar, you're really missing something. I'll provide a link to one. So, I was going to say, is this one private? Since a number of the journals lately have been, but just looking at that first paragraph tells me otherwise. Okay, so it's for general consumption. What then? What is here to share? Nothing comes. Now that's odd. Maybe it's to be on emptiness or surrender. Could be. I'll play with that and we'll see. It seems possible, as I've learned by reading in his biography, that the one we call Papa G, or Punjaji, may not have had to incarnate this last time, except that he had one unanswered desire that hadn't yet been fulfilled. He was a devotee of Krishna in a previous life, one of the Hindu gods, and, well, I get a bit ahead of myself. You see, it wasn't a big deal for Krishna or any one of the Indian gods to appear before Papaji. He had so many such appearances that they'd be impossible to count, really. It was just a regular part of his life as Papaji. Well, seeing in particular Krishna, this was a very strong desire he had when his last body died. Even in that lifetime, he had seen the physical manifestation of this divinity, this Krishna. But what he had wanted was to be able to see him at any time he chose, not just sometimes. Among the many amazing experiences Papaji recounts in his biography is the time he sat by the banks of the Ganga, or the Ganges River, and was shown the entire history of his very being, back into and before antiquity. Now, it's controversial for many because he tells of starting out as a plant or plant life and moving next to the animal kingdom, spending time there before incarnating as a man. Now, I never believed in that before, but now I'm at least considering it. Anyway, he says that he was shown that it was his strong desire to be able to summon Krishna's presence this way that brought him back into yet another lifetime as Papaji. Well, personally, I've got to admit, I'm glad it happened that way. There are so many thousands upon thousands that that man served that we'd have all been sad or missing something so special had he not come back one more time. Now, I doubt that 3D will see him again, unless he should volunteer for such a thing. Right now, I'm sure I'm not alone in that being the farthest thing from my desire. Be born in 3D again? Heck no. Let someone else do it. It's time for a major break, even to just move on. Surrender. Our path homeward is strewn with all that we'd surrender along the way. Most of us have way too much baggage to make the journey into the higher dimensions very easily. It's a really good idea to be stepping back as much as we can from all the stuff we're surrounded with. It's a main mission of the powers that were to make us all into good little consumers, faithfully shopping for just the latest thing, whether to adorn our body or for the mind to play with. Well, to heck with that. Let's get a handle on this. It's a major way we're manipulated to fatten their wallets at the expense not only of our wallets, but even of our soul path. What they rely on is keeping us identified with the form that we're working with or driving around down here. Parenthetically, I don't say that we wear it because the reality is that it doesn't contain us. We contain it. Now, as long as we're identified with body or mind, we'll be subject to their desires, to things that enhance their experience of life. Well, let's step back and look at that. Really? Do we really want that? Time for the good old question, who am I? Really, just who or what is it that is desiring all of this junk? Come on. It's a mess, and in the end, we don't even own our stuff. It owns us. Have you considered that? We're forever tending it, cleaning it, maintaining it, packing it and moving it with us, and so on. It's a burden to own things. Maybe you don't know this until you ditch a lot of it and find out what that kind of freedom is like. Now, I'm not saying get rid of the things that you still want. If you do that, you'll just buy or borrow them again. No, this is inside work we're discussing here. Take care of the inside, and the outside takes care of itself. It's the desire for it that has to go. Yet, rather than tackle the desire, I find it easier just to go find my real identity, which has no need for anything. It wants no toys, no gadgets, no bling. What good is any of that to the soul? Is it making the crossing with you? Well then, what the heck, right? It's worth looking at anyway. Sure, follow your bliss all you want, but first be sure to define you. It makes a big difference, don't you know? Just who is it that's programmed to want all that stuff? Wouldn't you like to be able to just walk away from all of that programming? Well, we can do it simply by switching over to the divine identity. You have one. Sure you do. Go within. Now, does that sound boring to some? I can't help you there. You're in the mind. Only mind can be bored, not heart. Now, heart can be uninterested. It can move on from something or some things. That's true. I'm not saying this is the finest writing that ever was and that no soul would want to switch the channel on me. Ha! Still, all of life is far more interesting from the heart perspective. And that's what I found. Don't you find it funny that the only way out is in? Oh, how we wish we were in the next dimension up, yet here we are. I can tell you, I grouched and griped and outright bitched about this, apparently for a number of lifetimes lately. That's what one psychic said anyway. I don't know. Anyway, I finally quit trying to run away from things, and things have gone pretty great ever since. Well, so the way I see it is the way out is to go thoroughly in, deep into the now here. Check it out. And I want to add in here that I remember my parents were military, so I grew up moving around where dad was transferred. And then I was military, and I was just, I just enjoyed new places, new spaces. So I did a lot of traveling. And I was still pretty young when I learned that I would be excited about getting a new start in a brand new place. And it wouldn't be 18 months, and I would be in the midst of recreating whatever it was that I didn't like about the previous place. So by moving around a lot like that, I learned pretty young, running away from things is not possible. The things are attached to you, not to the places. Okay, now back to the journal. All that ADD or ADHD stuff, the super short attention spans, by the way, that's attention deficit disorder or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That's both the programming and what's been put into the foods. It's not natural to the soul. Once we discover the infinite treasures there are in just being quiet and still inside, well, I'm guessing the ADHD will become a thing of the past. Oh, and we've got to get rid of the whole vaccination scene too. Homeopathy, maybe. Vaccines? No way. They pollute. And besides, I don't trust them not to be putting computer chips, now that they're miniaturized like that, into those vaccines. Now, it's not like that is totally devastating or anything. Remember, we're not the body, or we're not just the body, all right? Still, it's mighty important to the ride that we're having here. And maybe, too, the secret for some will be to recognize the ultimate emptiness of form, the 99.99999% space in every atom. Once we can really do that, can really get that, form will be easy to change. We'll be able to simply erase the effects of any vaccine or anything harmful at all. We get good at it, and they won't even be able to have any effects in the first place. But I do suggest this kind of getting it is a heart thing, not a head thing. We'll be able to design our form just the way we want to. Thick, long hair? No problem, coming right up. Taller, shorter, better teeth, better hearing, whatever it is, we'll have the full freedom to play with it. And we'll have instant manifestation too. None of this waiting around stuff. However, lest anyone get in too much hurry for this state, do consider if we gave every Tom, Dick, and Harriet the power of instant manifestation now, what would be the result? What if they got mad at the boss? What if he suddenly died? Would they be liable legally for that? How would the society keep up? Heck with the society. How would the people keep up? Temper tantrums would be hell. Literally. I mean, just consider. No matter where I look, and no matter what I consider, I seem to find that things are just perfect the way they are, now that I've quit running. Sure, I long for our new earth too, powerfully sometimes. I even cry over my beautiful visions, the beauty of all the beings living in harmony and peace. How totally awesome that is. Still, we've got the one step that's right here before us, and that's the one that needs our attention right now. So when that step is for you to be meditating on the beautiful vision you want to manifest, the beautiful new earth, then that's in your now. But when we're not meditating on it, we need to leave it alone and be here now. Without that, our beautiful future may not happen, or not happen in the fullness and the glory that it could. So let's be loyal to now here. Let's not let ourselves be steered off track anymore by elaborate games of the Illuminati bunch, by the powers that were. As we stick close to heart, we'll find all of our dearest desires coming alive, both for us and in us. The way into heaven goes straight through the heart, everyone's heart. Meet you there.